All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr., Mikey Garcia's retirement, and Terence Crawford, also little Sean Porter, and Mikey Garcia making an admission that Errol Spence Jr. fight may have caused more problems than he had originally anticipated, and that is a very, very important message to Terence Crawford as well. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're in the 147-pound division, talking about something Mikey Garcia had said about Errol Spence Jr. after announcing his retirement and the impact that that has on the Terence Crawford-Errol Spence Jr. fight, also on the Errol Spence Jr. versus Sean Porter fight, and pretty much anybody else to date that has gotten in the ring and fought Errol Spence Jr. Before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for watching the channel. If you would not mind, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on the daily basis in the live stream format and in the video format. Also, if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you for helping the channel grow. Thank you for being a continued supporter to the channel. It really does mean a lot. All right, so in the middle of this boxing desert, right, that we're in right now, most of the conversations in boxing are revolving around Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford. There's some other good fights that are out there, like Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. Not necessarily something I'm tremendously interested in, but you know, when the fight comes around in September, I'll be willing to watch it. You also have the Alexander Usyk Anthony Joshua fight that's coming up. But as far as really big fights, those are about it. And I don't believe either one of those are as big as the Errol and Terence fight. However, Mikey Garcia, some news that did hit the deck, and I think has implications on the Terence Crawford-Errol Spence Jr. fight, is that Mikey Garcia has announced that he is retiring from boxing. Mikey Garcia is a multiple weight division champion. I believe he won titles at 126. He won them at 130, at 135, and at 140. And then he dared to be great and fight Errol Spence Jr. for a title, for his IBF title at 147 pounds, and ran into what I would consider a major ASS whooping. Now, many people pointed to that fight and as something about Errol Spence Jr. that was in a negative way. Look at what happened with Errol and Mikey Garcia. Errol didn't stop Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia was a little guy. He couldn't get him out of there, yada, yada, yada. However, upon retirement, Mikey Garcia says that one of the reasons he's retiring is that whooping that he got from Errol Spence Jr. and the fact that that beatdown took a whole lot off of him and out of his career. Now, that is something that is really, really funny about boxing. Many people assume, I won't say always, but many people assume that the worst way to lose a fight is by getting knocked out, when that is absolutely not the truth. The worst way to lose a fight in the long run may be taking tremendous punishment in a fight over the course of a fight, in a way that you don't get knocked out unconscious, but your body is just taking a ton of punishment. So in the event, say for example, you get hit with one shot, boom, you're unconscious for a count of 10, you get up and that's it, right? However, yeah, you got concussed, you got knocked down, you got back up, right? And there you go. However, there is scenarios in which you can get hit upside your head. Instead of getting hit upside the head one time, you get hit upside the head and a big punch knocks you out. You get hit and concussed about 40 times with big shots that just don't knock you unconscious, that ring your head, ring your bell, and you just continue to get cracked on and cracked on and cracked on. You may actually sustain more long-term damage getting hit in your head 40 times and not getting knocked unconscious as getting hit one time in your chin and getting knocked unconscious. One guy that I do believe was a very, very good example of this through their career was Bernard Hopkins. When Bernard Hopkins said this, he's like, look, win or lose, people that get in the ring with me are never the same when they get out of the ring with me. And he pointed to that. In reference to Jermaine Taylor, who was the first guy in a very long time to beat him, took his undisputed title at 160 pounds from him. But in the process of doing that, took such a hellacious beating that he was never the same fighting after that. He would always, after that, was susceptible to one-punch knockouts. He would get up in fights like to Kelly Pavlik. Kelly Pavlik would all of a sudden puts the pressure on him, hits him with a big shot, boom, he's out of there. Same thing happened with him and Arthur Abraham, fighting Arthur Abraham in the Super 6 tournament at 168 pounds. Is winning the fight, outboxing guys, and all of a sudden, boom, something gets laid on him and he's out of there, right? Never really recovered from that. And that's the situation where Mikey Garcia probably is as well. Also, guys like, Joe Frazier said the same thing about what he did to Muhammad Ali. It's like, yeah, Muhammad Ali won that fight, but I most definitely took my pound of flesh out of him. And that is the danger for Terence Crawford going into fight with Errol Spence Jr. is that he may very well get his Bernard Hopkins moment or his Joe Frazier moment when you're in there and you're fighting a guy, but you have to take a ton of punishment while you're in the ring. And that is the type of beating that Errol Spence Jr. has put on multiple guys. He's not the first guy to do people like that. Take, for example, Sean Porter. Sean Porter had 2 more fights after Errol Spence Jr. and he was done after that fight. He was looking at retirement after that fight because he took a ton of punishment in that fight, took kind of an easier fight against somebody, didn't look very good in that fight, and then went in there with Terence Crawford and got blown out by Terence Crawford and knocked out on shots that before he probably could have taken cleanly and never went down on. At least that's my opinion. We'll see what happens with Danny Garcia. However, you please note that after Danny Garcia went 12 rounds with Errol Spence Jr., he has not been back in that ring for 2 solid years. Yordenis Ugas, without a doubt, has taken a serious amount of time off that guy's career for that beatdown he took in getting stopped by Errol Spence Jr. Literally broke that man's orbital bones. Same thing for Kell Brook. Kell Brook you've never seen Kell Brook look anything like he looked against that Errol Spence Jr. as he looked in that Errol Spence Jr. fight. After that Errol Spence Jr. fight, the dude was a shell of himself after that. And that is just something that Terence Crawford going into this fight with Errol Spence Jr. is going to have to be very, very concerned about. If he says he's going to stand in front of Errol and trade with Errol and all that stuff, look, dude, buyer beware, because that over there can definitely cause you a lot of problems. Not having one punch knockout power is one thing, but having sustained solid punches for 500-600 times can most definitely change your career. Just imagine sitting there, and I know people are fighting this. Just imagine having a professional fighter hit you 400 times in the course of an hour. That, a boxing match, the total amount of the time is about 45 minutes, a little short of an hour. If somebody connects on you 300-400 times over the course of an hour, that is a lot of punishment to take to your arm, to your head, to your chin, to your stomach, on your internal organs, on your brain, all kind of trouble. So anyway, it's going to be interesting, man. Hopefully that's not the case, but I'm telling you, if they engage in a war, you may very well see the best of both of these guys for the last time in that fight. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.